like eerie. Have
just,
some like horror music.
Just like a 2-minute fade in.
Yeah,
just
2
the
minute.
longest
Yeah,
fade in.
like Premiere Pro stretch it out so that like halfway through it's like 50%. So it's
You
like I
don't-
can't. It's too dark.
It's like I just want to. You're skipping ahead.
If you're watching on your phone, you have to like be constantly increasing the brightness.
Yeah, you're like, why is it so
just-
dark?
I have had to change my brightness like 5 times.
I don't want to alarm you.
We
but
should just
have-
make like troll videos where we
Okay,
troll
sure.
the
I
viewer.
don't want to alarm you, but we have 171 minutes left of recording
That's
time,
way too
so
much
just
time.
be careful.
Okay,
That's way
that's.
too much
I don't know
time.
if that's enough.
This is the the GoPro's still above us. That's kind of I like it though. It's like cryptic.
No,
It's-
dude,
just
I
cut to it every
fucking
now.
love the GoPro.
I like it because every now and then we can just look at it.
Yeah,
We're like
exactly.
that.
When something stupid happens, just be like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
that was a good clap.
That was very nice.
I even heard on this.
Nice. Hey. What's going on?
Buckle up and strap yourselves in. Women Do Meth is about to begin. The only podcast on the internet that is a show you won't forget.
My name's Tom.
Hey, my name is Seiron.
I'm Sage.
And we're here to talk about the end of the world. So
I wanted to just say that's kind of deep for our first topic.
okay, second topic.
Well, I guess we've already talked about this, but I was gonna say the dude who Epstein.
Talk about politics. We can talk about.
A little.
I'm
bit.
I'm down to start with politics.
yeah.
To be honest.
I don't know my language either. Just a little bit about Epstein because I find that topic interesting. Although I think.
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
talk about it a little
it's interesting.
All right.
I'm down.
So I can do a bit of a debriefing. I don't know the situation perfectly, but pretty much Epstein was somehow affiliated with the government. I should know more about this. I didn't do my research.
My name Jeff.
I
Yeah.
think he's like a lobbyist. Like
Yeah.
he pays.
Yes.
He like invests money.
Yeah, he was super big into like human trafficking, sex trafficking, and all that
yeah,
shit.
really.
And
And children.
yeah, and he got caught. I think he's also super rich. He had like his own island or some shit.
And
He was
then
on that shit. He flew back over, and they immediately arrested him out of the airport because they caught him for that. And so he had a lot of compromising information on a lot of people. And then, next thing you know, they have him in suicide watch in a contained cell, I believe, and there were 2 guards supposedly on him.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be cameras on him, and he ended up committing suicide, quote unquote. And the guards weren't watching, and the camera like didn't work, and it was bugged.
Okay.
And so there's a big. I don't like to be a conspiracy theory guy. I'm not like, I don't like flat Earth. But what?
They took him off suicide watch.
Oh, they took him off suicide watch. Apparently.
What?
But yeah,
They took him off suicide watch days before.
yeah.
Okay.
It still seems really
And he was
sus that.
supposed to have a roommate.
It still seems really
thought
sus
he
that
was-
in a contained environment he got himself killed. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying like he was murdered, but it seems like in other people's interests and maybe in an interest for him to not have to deal with everything, there was a good reason for him to die.
Yeah.
So it's they're saying it's suicide. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's a very like lucky death.
Yeah, very
Very
convenient
convenient.
for a lot of people who are very corrupt.
Yeah, not just him. I mean, it's not even I think that's the big part is it's like it for us
Yeah.
as like not however wealthy he is.
Yeah.
It's like seeing that I think he got an 11-month sentence, right?
Oh yeah.
Seeing that sentence for us is like that like you serve your time. Like it's not
Yeah.
he did so much bad shit for that amount of time.
Yeah.
It's like serve your time. So it's suspicious for him to kill himself just because he got that little time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
There was other stuff going on.
That's what it. Yeah, in my opinion, it does. It does feel sus.
And what
But
is
I
it?
don't know. I don't know. He could have killed himself.
If you
I think there is a chance.
if you want to get into more conspiracy theory stuff, there were people saying like there's all those recent shootings and then this Epstein shit happened,
Yeah.
and people were trying to like predict the future by saying like, oh, because Epstein committing suicide is such a controversial thing and it seems really like kind of almost cryptic,
Mhm.
like there some people were saying that the government might orchestrate another shooting in order to cover up the whole Epstein shit, to just try to like create more controversy, because guns have been a really big thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Has
'cause
there
shit-
been another mass shooting since?
I don't know if there has been
Probably.
since. There were
There were
obviously the
multiple
2
ones
before.
I'm sure. I'm sure there was something.
I mean, I'm sure.
Wasn't there like 3?
I'm sure there's
two that I
something.
know of. There was
There's
the
been
one in Texas and there
hundreds.
was the other one. Great. I should put on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know.
The government.
I don't know if the government's
conspiracy
that
theories,
capable. To be honest, I don't think they're that intelligent.
I think they're very coordinated. What I found interesting was I was talking about it a bit with my dad over lunch, and he was like, because apparently he has his own island, Epstein, and so like he was on his own
We
island
used to.
and then flew
He's
then
dead
flew
now.
to the U.S. and then they got him as soon as he got off the plane.
Mhm.
But like, my dad was like, oh yeah, like I mean they couldn't like go to his island, and just
Yeah.
pick him up there because he owned it, and I was like, well, it's not like under U.S. like jurisdiction, like who own I don't know, that's interesting. If you have your own personal island that apparently the U.S. government can't go to, it's probably a lot easier to traffic people.
Oh yeah.
So like
Yeah, he was.
fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
he was probably doing some really like horrible
He had,
shit.
like a wife and kids, dude.
Yeah, he had a family.
Nice.
How does like owning an island work like government wise? Like would you have to
I think you buy
be
it.
under like for example Epstein is a U.S. citizen and his island would it be like under the U.S. government?
I
Or
don't.
is it, like,
I don't think so.
completely
I
his?
think it's like it's territory of its own. It's like
Yeah.
sovereign territory.
It's like
so
international waters.
so like whoever owned it first, you basically just go to them and buy it from directly from them.
Yeah, but like let's say on that island if something like bad happens, like that would be illegal for us. Like, is it illegal there?
No.
Like, does he have the same
No.
laws?
I don't think so.
It's his own like
Because if,
land.
for
because
instance,
if Epstein, let's say he apparently has an island, if he's just doing some like creepy shit on his island,
yeah,
what?
but for instance, like if he is doing like some illegal stuff, like it probably correlates to another country, right? So for instance, if he was doing human trafficking, even if it's on his own island, eventually he's selling it to someone on the U.S. and he's using U.S.
Yeah,
currency.
he
so when he
can't-
gets back, then the consequences come in, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, well, you were just doing some illegal shit with our.
Yeah.
Unless
pretty
they're
effectively.
trading like people for like fucking goats or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 kids for like 20 goats.
That is
It
enough.
seems like a pretty good deal, to be honest.
That's how they used to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, like, you would get married to people for goats and shit back
Uh-huh.
then.
God, dude.
that's actually
Imagine being
interesting.
worth 6
I just
goats.
I got reminded of something. So like for
Yeah, like, your dad gives you away for 6 goats, and you're like,
You don't even live very
I'm
far
6
away.
goats. Yeah, you live, like, down the road
Yeah,
from
you're-
your dad
you're 3
your
miles-
entire
You're
life.
3 miles away, and every day you see him tending to the
Yeah.
goats like you fucking asshole. David was showing me some TikToks earlier today at Max's place. Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
the bridge?
and-
Let's find
oh,
the connection.
Oh well,
Or is this just a completely
this is kind of different to be
Okay,
honest.
okay.
But this was just about like he was showing me them, and he isn't following anybody, so a lot of them were random people. I don't mean to dog on random people, but generally I didn't think they were very funny.
No.
But like, I don't know. I feel like I thought TikTok was gonna die because it's like to me it's just kind of like shitty or fine. I mean, it seems like it's more freeing. Like it doesn't have to be specifically 6 seconds. You can slow it down. Like there's a lot of more options, but I don't know. I mean, it's because it's so accessible. To me, it shows how a lot of modern media is about like people creating their own content, which is initially it sounds like a nice thing, but I don't know. It's like trying to create content out of your life, which I don't like. Like I like the idea of people being able to express themselves, but like I don't know. Like it's the idea that like everybody can and should create content, and like everybody. I don't know. I'm trying to like.
You don't like that idea?
You feel less unique.
Well, no, not even. I don't know. I think the scary, like, just the idea that like people can create entertainment for themselves and for each other out of themselves. I don't know. It's not like innately a bad thing, but
Yeah,
it just feels.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to do like an evil spin on this or anything. I was just
Yeah,
trying to
no.
bring it up because I guess it's something that I've been thinking about.
That's fair.
And like,
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think like.
it's definitely scary for like people that want to make it in like entertainment and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the saturation.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, I just want it to come from a place of authenticity. Because to me, like, I don't think TikTok's entirely fake, and it definitely requires some attempt at, like, comedy or whatever you're going for. But it definitely, like...
Just I'm just picturing the TikTok where they just sit down to plug walk.
Yeah, exactly. I
That's
know.
comedic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, like, it's a great starting place, but if you're trying to do more complex shit, I think it obviously undermines your ability to push the boundaries of like creativity or like the creation
Yeah,
of
you,
something.
yeah,
you know?
you obviously you're not gonna like spit like a doctoral thesis on
Oh yeah,
TikTok.
definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what I was
It's not
initially
the right format.
yeah,
It's like
what I was initially worrying about was like, oh well, it like contains people because it just well, and maybe this is true, but like it just sates that immediate gratification or that immediate want to create content and then doesn't push you to go any further. But I don't necessarily think it's not the app's job to do that, but it could, it could be better, but everything could be better. I think it's tough, but it has to come from the self in order to be like, if you want to create something and do something.
yeah, you want to just reattach it like
Yeah.
nice and
Maybe Max can help out.
PA help us.
The jankiness of our setup is
Scuffed.
Oh yeah, okay.
Welcome to the Scuffed podcast.
Can I shout that out? Okay, so we're recording with a camera on a tripod right now, filming us there. We have a. Okay, cool. Max is we're gonna put some footage up, show what this shit looks like.
Crazy.
But yeah, we have like a fan glued to the wall and shit like that, and there's a floating extension cord.
And a lamp.
And yeah, and also a taped GoPro.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the For You page, which is just random, like Sage was saying.
Oh yeah.
But if you do follow people, and there are some like funny or like creative creators on TikTok, then you have your following page, and your following page is actually like not that bad because it's like you only have like people you're interested in. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I actually found myself like before bed, I would just like look at the following page, like look at like people I actually thought were like creative or like talented or at something. Like some of them, they're just like funny. There's this one guy that I thought was interesting. He does these videos where he like, I guess like shouts out or like recommends scary animes briefly. Yeah, so that was like kind of interesting. And then there was like this one other guy who he just does like the regular TikToks where it's like a song and then you like do some movements to it or whatever. But he stands out because he's like really good at transitions, and what transitions are in that is like when they have the camera and then they like move it and then it like comes back and it cuts and like it looks really smooth and stuff, or like it's like a perfect loop or something. So he's like good at that, and then he has like lights and effects and things in his room, so it like looks tight.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that kind of stuff. And like some of them are like actually pretty cool. Yeah. And like from like an audience point of view, I can see why people would like TikToks, especially like younger people, is because it's so easy. Like the entire app is just like the whole screen is just like the TikTok video. Yeah. And then on the bottom is like the description and blah, blah, blah on the sides. But like it's mainly just that. And the only thing you can really do other than like going to the menus and other stuff is just like swipe up or swipe down.
It seems very involved. Like Snapchat.
Yeah. And so it's constantly just like giving you content. And also the TikToks don't pause once they're done. They keep replaying.
Oh.
So like it's just always something is happening on the screen. Like it's like on YouTube, you on the app at least, you scroll through the videos, you pick one, you play it, and then it finishes and ends and then stops, or maybe you have autoplay on. I don't know. But like on TikTok,
yeah.
Vine was like that; it would refresh, but you still had to scroll down.
Yeah, and then Vine you'd scroll down. But the thing about
the thumbnails that move to try
to go down.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You're still
yeah. So
that shit helps.
So, but the thing is, I think swiping is like even faster than the scrolling, because with like Vine you would like watch the Vine and then scroll.
The motion is
it's instant.
and accept.
Yeah.
YouTube is motion and then accept by tapping.
Yeah. So like you can tell TikTok like knows their shit, because rather than having you like scroll through videos, you just have the video as the whole screen, and then you swipe and then instantly you're on another video, and it's automatically playing, and like it plays instantly and keeps repeating. And it's just like it's just like constant entertainment. And so it's like watching TV, like when you were a little kid and people would be like, oh, if you watch too much TV, your brain will melt, because usually when people watch TV, they're just sitting there for like hours on end without even like moving an inch. And that's how I like low-key felt looking at TikToks. After like 10 minutes I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Like it does feel like that.
It's a little addictive.
It's kind of Well, it's almost like it feels almost it feels almost unintentionally addictive. Like with like back in the day with books and stuff. Like it would take our time, but it people weren't stuck inside reading books and shit. But nowadays it's like you could like live your life just through TikTok. Like you don't you
get all your entertainment from one app.
and like but you can get like the reward, like the dopamine and shit for like
dopamine rush because
so quickly, like over and over again. I don't know. I worry about that a lot. Personally.
Yeah, I mean,
like the addiction and stuff. And,
with technology, there's like a direct correlation between like effectiveness in like advertisement or getting your attention and addiction, which is,
bad.
it's obviously like it's a problem because it feeds into like human mind's easiness to fall into that kind of addiction.
Low key, another result of profit-based capitalism. Just saying, guys.
Oh, that was the time.
If I'm saying if game companies were rewarded for the quality of the people that played their games' lives instead of how much they make, situation could be a little better.
A little bit off
mean?
topic, but just this brief comment. I think Fantano said it was on like one of his videos. It would be cool if like you could get like tax cut or like a tax return by donating to someone's like SoundCloud if you like their shit. I thought that I was like it's a funny idea, but it's also kind of cool because you're putting the money somewhere, so it would be cool to like write that off.
It is a donation.
Yeah, effectively. But what else? Yeah.
I was gonna say one more thing.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I wasn't transitioning, but I want to hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I also remembered, so with YouTube thumbnails, there's this thing, like everyone knows like how the whole clickbait stuff works. Like you have to put your face in the thumbnail, and like arrows and like that kind of stuff catches people's attention. But apparently like YouTube specifically, like their algorithm will push videos that have a detectable face in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And
Which makes sense.
yeah, and I think there's like maybe one more thing, but like it's mostly the face. Like if you have a face in your thumbnail, and we looked at this with Max. So on Max's YouTube channel, he noticed that his videos that have his face in them just had genuinely more views than the videos that didn't have his face in the thumbnail. Yeah. And so it's like a science, like neurological thing, because people like seeing people's faces. Because when you make, because eye contact is big amongst like animals are all across the world, and for humans too. Like I think I talked about this with Tom.
We were talking about how.
Do you remember?
Yeah. How anonymous society is now, like with the internet.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad for us. Like,
Yeah. Like community is an important part of everyone's life, but nowadays it's like you can get that community, like sense of community from like online services. Like you can go on Discord with your friends or like Skype or whatever it is.
You can also be
completely anonymous. Yeah, and you can be like anonymous, but when it comes to like real life, like actually seeing somebody, there's something.
Like, hey,
you have to.
Tom.
There's physical touch, like handshakes. There's like you actually make eye contact, and eye contact like does something for your brain, for sure. Because if you ever like we mentioned how if you look at like a cat or a dog, and you stare at them, and after a certain point they look away, that means like they accepted that like you're dominant over them.
Well, so I think I heard at some point that like if you stare into someone's eyes long enough, your brain can start secreting like love hormones and stuff like that. Like
Well, just like generally,
it's really interesting.
Like oxytocin.
That it shows confidence and stuff like that, but like on a chemical level, like it actually is doing something. Like I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like looking into someone's eyes after a certain point, like just talking to them makes you start to feel like closer to them just from eye contact. So yeah, like tying back to what I was saying at first, the whole eye contact thing, like seeing someone's face in the thumbnail, like as soon as you see that, like even if it's like the slightest bit, you're like slightly more inclined to click that video rather than the other one that just has text in it.
And also something, I mean, I have no idea, but something that's interesting that I'd like to see is like,
if like smiling faces and like more like positive emotion, like emotes,
more popular than negative emotes. Right? They probably would be, right?
I don't. I actually.
But also like
The other way,
it's
yeah.
something tragic.
Well,
And it's like, oh, I want
Yeah,
to see
the
that.
other way around is this is so sad. I gotta check it out. Or like this guy is so angry it looks funny.
Well, what do you think?
Like,
Like,
I
I
personally,
personally,
any like extreme emotion. Where
Yeah.
someone looking super happy or
Oh, yeah.
super
Yeah,
surprised or scared.
but I feel like there has to be stats. Like there has to be. Like,
Oh,
one
which
has
one's
to
the
be
strongest?
More, yeah, one has to
What's
be
the
more
emotion
attractive.
meta?
And I honestly feel like negative is more attractive for some reason, right?
For like an audience,
For
like,
most
like
people.
Well, I think.
Because it's easier to feel a reaction.
Yeah, I think to put a
right?
positive spin on it, humans are empathetic, so they might look to try to tend to the needs of.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course, it's a YouTube
It's
thumbnail,
all-
so that's not
it's
what you're
all an-
thinking.
but it's
It's
all an
subconscious.
empathy thing. Like it's all like
Yeah, I
you-
guess
you
so.
want to-
You wanna be a part of
you
it, I
wanna
guess.
Be, like relate and you
Yeah.
kind of want to put yourself in them.
Yeah.
That'd be really interesting to see, and also
Yeah.
really good for the channel.
Yeah.
to know.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think.
So yeah, we just have sad faces.
Yeah.
all our
Each
channel.
the next 6 videos is a different one of us, and then a different expression. Actually, we need one
need
person.
anxiety.
We just
No,
have we just have one of each.
no, yeah,
So
no.
let's do that right now since we're on this topic. For the thumbnail, we're all going to make a different facial.
Yeah,
expression.
okay.
Let's have one really happy, one really sad.
No,
and
I think we
one-
all need to do this because we need to remove all other variables. We all needed to be sad, all need to be happy, all need to be angry, and then all 3 of us, like a 3x3 grid of our fucking faces. It's gonna be scary, and then make it look like a Rubik's cube too. I feel like that'd be cool.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Are we doing this shit?
Okay, let's all do one really happy face for the thumbnail.
I'm gonna look like a fucking soy boy.
Okay, one really
Sad,
angry.
angry.
Let's do one really angry
Yeah.
face. Okay, and then one really sad face.
All right.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
pretty good.
For the thumbnail, and let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Leave a comment
Yeah.
below.
Followers, fucking.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't.
Send me bits, dude.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, I don't know.
Donate to my bank account.
Hit up my DMs about what you think.
Yeah, anonymity has definitely allowed people to be much more aggressive online and everything. Yeah, I mean,
because there's no responsibility anymore. for
yeah,
them, like-
in society, like there's like an undeniable like truthfulness to seeing someone's physical appearance.
Yeah.
So I mean, and
It's
that
there,
and
it's
that,
like,
that hits your
oh.
confidence. Yeah, you can't fuck around with that. You know?
Yeah, you see a dude that's 6'6" and like jacked, you're like,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
He can talk shit in person.
Yeah, exactly. That like teaches you about life because when you're growing up or just in life in general, and you're like seeing people in real life,
and like you see someone like bigger and more intimidating, you're like, oh, I need to like be like respectful of this person, like they seem kind of scary. Or maybe you see someone who's like
you know,
younger than you, and you're like, oh, I need to like, I don't know, like maybe assert my like wisdom on them or something. I don't know, like you see a little kid and you're like, hey, like you're not doing that correctly or something. Or like, I don't know, just like it's just like life things, I guess. Just like seeing people in real life and like acting appropriately, whereas like online being anonymous, there's none of that. So it's just like whatever you want goes. Like, but also there's like the good side of that is like when it's anonymous, people feel more comfortable speaking as well. Like on that one TikTok that I made, there was one guy that commented, and then because I made some joke. I was the TikTok was about, because I'm Turkish, in case people don't know. So like, I made this joke that since I'm from Turkey, like growing up, people would make the joke like gobble gobble because Turkey, the animal, is like the same as the country, and so that was what it was about. And then this guy commented like, oh man, it must be like really hard on Thanksgiving for you guys or something like that. And then I commented back to him, and he like replied back, and he was like this totally random dude, and he's just like replying to me on like some random TikTok that he saw. And it's just weird because like you wouldn't just like randomly start talking to some stranger, but because it's like online and like that's just like how it works, and it's like so it like connects people.
I
in a way.
guess it's
So
not,
it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's not all bad. I mean, even with like negative attention online, I feel like it's the same as real life, minus that physical connection. It's the same.
Yeah.
In that in my opinion, it's not a reflection on you as much as the person
being rude or whatever. You know what I mean? Like something's obviously gone wrong with their day or their life
Yeah.
for them to be mad.
Taking it out
If
on
of
some
course if
stranger.
you've done nothing and
Yeah.
you know whatever.
I was gonna throw it back a little bit to the to content again, because something that that I've been thinking about a lot is I think this group is super. If nothing else, we try a lot to do content, even if it fails and stuff. And by content, like videos, music. Yeah, it feels good and it's gratifying, and it's sort of like, I guess it's like this era's form of like sort of mental productivity to me. I mean, some people can make a profit out of it, but like I don't know. I have friends. I have another group of friends, effectively, and some of them are just, I think, are less invested or less interested in like creating content, which isn't innately a bad thing. But anytime it's not a bad thing. But when I think about it, it's like, I don't know. To me, I'm only one person and only one experience in the world. But like, to me, because I live in a first world country and I have the luxury of creating stuff, like I justify a lot of the time that I spend like on video games or what I would consider like wasted time. Like I feel like I sort of, my requiem is like by being able to create content, even if it's not great. You know, if nothing else, it's like a snippet. I can go back and look at it. Sometimes it'll be funny. Sometimes it'll have some ulterior message. But like I don't know, like, I guess, like, the question is, like, maybe a question for you guys, like, along with TikTok that supports the idea that anyone can make content regardless, like, do you think it's possible for everyone in such a society, oh god, to be able to, like, I guess, is it possible, is it possible for everyone to be able to be a successful content creator, like, and also defining... Yeah, well, the thing is defining success, right? Because obviously success could be you have 0 followers, but you're happy with what you produce, or like financially. I don't know. I'm not as interested financially. I just want, I guess, something that I toil over is like, should people create content? I mean, some people don't have to, I guess, but like, well, so you think people should, but
content. What gets good raises to the top. Like it doesn't matter. Like you can. There's no point in not. Is my biggest thing. Like, and
well, like free time. What if you don't have? I'm just devil's advocate here.
Like what do you mean?
Like you're studying for a doctorate or some shit.
Well, if you're studying for a doctorate, you obviously have your path.
I guess you're doing
so you're focused on your main thing, hopefully, and maybe it's a hobby or something. You know, I think for us, it's a lot less of a hobby and more. At least I know for me, I'll say for me personally, it's closer to my career path than a hobby. I mean, it is, but you know what I mean? I think we take it more seriously. I think we're also exposed like more than the average person. Like me and Max, both started making videos like pretty early.
Yeah,
I feel like, and stuff like that. So I don't know, you know. I think but everyone like there's no reason for everyone not to.
Well, some people,
because it's like it's therapy.
I think so, but I think the issue is that, well, not the issue.
Like,
and
if
the thing
someone
is that
told you shouldn't draw because you're not great.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Of course, I disagree with that. And I think my thinking is like, oh well, some people just genuinely don't seem interested, right? Like they just don't want to. But the people that I know, the people that I know generally that aren't, like, usually either want to and just haven't gotten to it yet, or are generally like not as happy as I think I'd hope they would be, right? Like I guess for instance, like
They're aimless.
Yeah, or like some of my friends, maybe I'd like them to have more direction. I'm not trying to dog on anyone. But I think even
I'm sure they know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Like I'll ask them and they'll be like no,
Yeah.
but I'm like and I'm like
And most people don't know what the fuck is going on.
yeah, and I don't know, and I don't think it might not be creating content, just being productive or doing work or something, but like, or even like, even people not our age, like for instance, like my dad, like he came to LA to do screenplays and he ended up becoming a teacher, but now that he's retired now, I just gave his whole life synopsis in like a sentence. Shout out Master Mark. But what yeah, oh god. But pretty much, yeah, pretty much he's been meaning to write some books, some children's books and some other stuff because he's a writer basically, and so like now that he's retired, he's trying to get more time to do it. But like, so I'm saying like this isn't a generational thing to me. Like even someone who comes from a different situation and like doesn't fully understand technology or whatever, it doesn't watch YouTube videos or even know what TikTok is. Like, there's an innate desire from within him to create something. So like to me, like, and I haven't given it enough thought about like other generations. I've only really thought about where we're at right now. But like, can that also be linked back to the past? Like, people who just settled or like people who just only worked, did that come from a place of genuine and all right human contentment of not creating content, or were they dissatisfied?
Well,
like, I mean, obviously I don't think it's linear. Like for everyone content is satisfaction, but like to what extent is that true?
No, I mean,
I
do think content is satisfaction. I mean, I think in general, like, but I think your idea of content is media, is entertainment.
Not
and stuff.
entirely. I think
Like,
and I want to let Sarah talk too. I don't mean to hog the stage.
it's just because,
but
in my opinion, like if someone makes a house, that
can
is
be-
content.
yeah,
that
I
is
think-
that is very important content. Like,
Yeah.
doctor making medicine, very important content.
yeah, I think for me, what content can kind of be boiled down to like communication in some format, right? Because I mean, I guess it's the idea of like human interaction. Yeah, the idea of like human interaction to some extent, right? So, for instance, when you said building a house, that actually links pretty well into an example. Me and Indigo, my brother, went to New York, and we visited this place called Wings Castle. It was awesome. Pretty much, it was this. Oh yeah! Oh my God! Overseeing the grapevines of upstate New York, the most fucking it thing. But pretty much, like. Oh no! Yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it was awesome. But pretty much the point is like it was like this guy and his fiance's like life's work pretty much, and that's what he spent his whole life doing. And to me, like yeah, I think, but it's sort of like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody heard it, did it happen? Like if you were to build, yeah, no. What I'm saying is like to what extent is that real or authentic? Like sadly the dude passed away, rest in peace, and she like is I don't know if he was religious. Oh man, but now, like, they have, like, a B&B in the back that they get money from. Oh, shit, okay. They have a B&B in the back,
We'll keep going.
and they do tours for money. So she's making money out of it, but it doesn't have to be a financial thing. More importantly, she showcases the house, so it's like that was his content, effectively.
Yeah.
And so, like,
It's his life's work.
yeah, like, I guess
I'm sure he was
a
proud
lot
of
of
it.
a lot of my thought is, one, to what extent do people have to create content to be happy, and two, how far and how much human interaction does that content have to get in order to be valid? Those are two things that I think about a lot.
I think for something to be valid.
Yeah, I want to get your voice. I want to get Saron's voice on this. Okay, well, if anything, let's just get to Saron now, because no matter what,
Yeah.
I want Tom is you.
Yeah, I mean, I think happiness is, people make their own happiness.
Of course.
But I think for a lot of people, that process of making your own happiness is finding something to do and finding a way to contribute to other people.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, at the end of the day, we really only have, like, other human beings. Like, no one really knows shit, you know what I mean? Like, so we're all just figuring it out, and, like, me making music is my way of trying to talk to people and express my ideas and stuff. Yes, it's all every single bit of everything we do is a way of communicating, because that's all we can do is share what's in our brains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In
Human
my
experience, yeah.
So just like with the tree falling in the forest and like no one hearing it, even though like nobody heard it, like did it really happen? I think there's also the importance of like there's now a fallen tree there, like there's now a mark left on the planet.
That's true.
And so as you make content, it's like you're leaving your mark on
Even
the
if
planet.
nobody immediately sees it. Like
Yeah.
so many famous artists do crazy shit, die, and then like 8 years later people are like, bro.
Yeah,
Why
there's
do we
so many.
Yeah, why do we skip up on this dude?
That's most artists.
Most
because
classical
most of
artists,
them
for
are like seen as crazy.
Yeah.
And
at
poor
first.
and smokers and then die. And outcasts,
Yeah, and then
social
after they
outcasts.
die, and then their work is like treasured and they're like seen as visionaries of their time.
Yeah.
But it's like they
That-
didn't get
that
that
takes
recognition
time.
during their lifetime. Yeah.
That only exists because in the context of human history, they were great examples of like their time period, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
They reflected
They
their time
communicated their time.
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
They did, yeah. And so I just thought that was like important to bring up. And also
I never thought about it like that. It's good. But
yes,
straight bomb.
yeah. So like, I mean, it's really unfortunate that that person, the people who created something that only became like well known and great after they died.
Yeah.
Like that's really unfortunate, but it's still like, well, maybe not for them personally, but for like society, like that person was seen as like purposeful.
Yeah.
And like I know that for a lot of people, like you want to have purpose in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that purpose comes from like doing something that you're passionate about. And so like with like content creation or just creation in general, like I just see it as creation in general. Like whatever it is, like you put your time and effort into, like that you're passionate about, like that's what gives you purpose, and like that's important. And I would hope like everyone has something like that in their life. And like when you're talking about your friends who seem like they're not really interested in anything like that, I thought about that, and I feel like maybe for some people they just haven't had enough like experiences in life yet, because
19, 18, how old?
Yeah. Exactly.
everyone's life is different. Like some people don't really have like much of a purpose in life until they're like 50, and then all of a sudden they do something great.
Yeah.
So for some people it's like it takes time. It is interesting that everyone in our group seems to be like pretty like creative, I guess, in a way. Like everyone is like, you know, interested in like media and creation and like leaving a mark and doing something, and I think that's like really nice.
Yeah.
But obviously not everyone's like that, so yeah. Hopefully everyone has their chance.
I think the people that don't do that, like,
Yeah. It seems like you're in a bad mental space.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
It's
Like
like you're broken, kind of.
I had a friend.
In a way.
Yeah, or like like you feel like
if
you're
you're
missing
just,
something.
I don't know, if you're just sitting there like,
Yeah, like we have a friend
I
who
don't wanna do anything.
we have a friend who was like, and I'm sure I've been like this before, like that mental state where you're like, oh man, like right now in the future I just see myself like living in a log cabin alone by myself, like isolated. Like to me, like what you're physically saying is like I want to be isolated from people and I just want to spend time alone, like I don't want to get involved. What that like means subconsciously is like right now I'm in like a bad mental spot and I don't know how I want to communicate with others, and I don't know how to communicate with others, which is a sad thing. I'm not trying to like accuse him of being depressed or anything, but yeah. Another thing, and I want to relate this to what you said, your income would basically be content. I feel like for me it's like slightly different in that like my income and my content I feel like have to intersect in order for me to do what I really want.
Sorry, what do you mean? What did I say?
Like you said, like for you, like the content that we create is what you want to make your financial support, like making music.
Well,
because for us, like making music is like we do it because it's fun.
I guess I meant like usually, like almost most of the time, what you produce and like what you produce through your, like if you look at your life and if you could label what that person produced and stuff, usually you could sum it up by their careers, because their career is their pursuit of like constantly refining and getting better at that craft or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, but you can create any content. Like a builder can create a painting, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everything's content. It's just most of the time the content that will mean stuff in the long run, for the most part, is stuff that people dedicate their lives to, I feel like.
Yeah.
For something to last a long time, it has to be really fucking good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is definitely a topic that's so diverse that we can definitely talk about more, but I don't know if we want to wrap it. Yeah, if we want to wrap this up.
Speaking of content.
You're watching this live.
Yeah, you
shit.
well, maybe
live.
Burnouts.
Hey, you're watching content right now. We all encourage
It's better
you
to burn
go
out
there and
than to
make
fade
something.
away.
Hey, like this video so we don't fade away.
Please.
Please.
We're gonna just leave like a burnt stain on the fucking ground, and people are just gonna walk over it and it's gonna go away. That's us.
That's our channel.
I had a really depressing, I must have been like really sad or something, but I remember one time I was in the car with my mother and I was like, you know, life is like being trapped under frozen ice, and like so you're underwater, right? It's short, it's fleeting, and if you want to leave a mark on the world, you just like the best you can do is like try to like spit in the water or like create some effect or like write in the ice. But either way, no matter what, it's gonna dissipate or it's gonna wash over. I mean, like, which is really depressing. But I think the point I was trying to get across is like, you also shouldn't try to leave a mark on the world just for mark's sake. Like to me, like somebody who's like just trying to like if you're just trying to like write a book or like the content you should create should be important for you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but I think it's hard to distinguish like genuine like I wanted to say something over like I wanted to leave something because I'm scared to die, which isn't innately a bad thing. It's
I think it's the same thing.
Well,
like,
that,
I think you only make stuff.
I guess that I mean if you think about it, that within itself is a genuine because it's like it's like. But it's I guess what's upsetting for me is like
if I was never concerned about dying, like there'd be no point in doing anything.
Yeah, but you're right, and I guess the point of what I'm trying to say though is like what that is like creating content that isn't about the fear of dying. It's like trying to make something else and be like I am scared, but here's something else, opposed to like this is like what I'm trying to say, and I have to get it out before I die. Which again, that's not bad. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a little more impactful to be like, this is what I'm trying to communicate rather than like I'm gonna get this out before I fucking die, like an autobiography.
I don't think it's like I need to get this.
Yeah,
out before I die. It's like it's definitely something where it's like
the death just indirectly gives purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the balance thing that we
like
brought
you
up a
can't
couple
have
times. You can't have the good without the bad.
You can't have death without life, obviously. But the funny thing is, you also can't have much of a life without a death.
Which is what I'm gonna be writing about next time.
So next time I'm gonna talk about Batman.
So
can we just walk off? Like,
like if you
like
the video.
We all say next time.
Fuck this video.
No, actually, we all go next time. We're gonna blank, and then we each walk off.
Yeah, can we do that?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, sure. Next time I'm gonna write a book or a comic book or something.
Next time I'm gonna talk about Batman with Max and David.
Same one just left.
This time I'm gonna realize we did this in the wrong order.